down on the national
There's the
wall.
goat.
This is a different form of protest for Democrats, and one that is definitely
President of the United States.
There you see the president has entered the chamber. He knows this moment is a pivotal moment for him. He was saying, we should point out, John took us behind the scenes here, it is customary for the anchors of the networks and some of the cable news hosts to be invited to the White House under Republican presidents, under Democrat presidents. On the day of the State of the Union, the president did invite a few of us for lunch, and he made it very clear that he will address the economy tonight. Obviously, the polls, this White House, very aware of his handling of the economy in terms of the American people, that they can look at the stock market, but also can look at their grocery bills and recognize that they're not feeling this quite yet. You can see the very warm welcome that he's getting from his Republican colleagues there in the chamber. Let's go right to Rachel Scott, who's also in the chamber tonight. And Rachel, what do you make of what you see so far? And
why do these people like him? The reason why people like them is because they're also pedophile defenders. Like, that's it. They all serve the same masters. They are all servants of capital at the end of the day. And as long as the Dow is over 50,000, they're going to be fine with it, you know? That's it.
That post that the president had on his social media account, a racist post that was offensive, that clearly a sign of protest there. Also notable as the president's making his way down toward the Supreme Court justices, David, is some Democrats didn't even bother to turn around as the president entered the House chamber tonight, and Democratic leadership, notably Hakeem Jeffries, was seated.
we just saw the president obviously shake the Chief Justice's hand. There's Justice Elena Kagan, Brett Kavanaugh, Amy Coney Barrett. Of course, he chose Amy Coney Barrett for the bench. She was one of the justices who did not vote in his favor and did not shake her hand there. Did interact with the Chief Justice.
Oh my God, the drama.
With none of the other justices. And John Carl, this was a question for the president today. Obviously didn't want to go on the record, didn't offer any answer to us.
Fuck
but
you.
It was clear to
you
us
stupid
at the White
fucking
House
ogre.
that he didn't quite know how he was going to handle the justices when he got there tonight.
Yeah, interesting, that shake, very quick shake with John Roberts, and then going right by Amy Coney Barrett, who he put on the court.
My dad just said it's disrespectful for the Democrats to not be there. Yeah, you know what's disrespectful? Every single thing that Donald Trump has done so far in his second term and also his first term, down to the insurrection, but not limited to the insurrection, okay?
Which included in that, though, Gorsuch, Justice Gorsuch, not there this evening, along with the other justices who are not there.
Every single one of these fucking lizard monsters wearing suits today are all pedophilia defenders alongside Donald Trump.
This president knows this is a critical midterm election year and that the Republicans hold very slim majorities in both the House and the Senate.
David, tonight is the president's best chance to defend his first year
What does
back
Al Green's
and try to
sign
sway
say?
skeptical voters to back Republicans in the upcoming midterms. He needs to convince Americans that he is laser focused on that issue that is top of mind for them, the cost of living. He's going to argue his policies are working, but as we know, the polls show.
Bro, you couldn't have had a sign that said like you're a pedophile protector or something. Like, that's, I mean, the energy's there. The energy's there. Scalise tore it down. Al Green just held up a sign that said black people are not apes. As Trump walked by, Scalise pulled it down. I mean, I love Al Green.
Utilities and housing and what have you. I just want to point your attention at home.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
There you have it, the Speaker of the House with George Washington's gavel tonight, introducing President Trump. Let's listen.
That's just gonna blow up, dude. He's gonna slam it one time and it's gonna explode like an ominous sign. It's so funny to think about like the average age in that room, which is like 854 years old, and they're all chanting USA like they're a bunch of fucking drunk frat bros.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States. Second Lady of the United States. Members of Congress and my fellow Americans, our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America.
They're getting up. Dick riders, bro.
When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages.
Yeah, he did. He turned this car around, all right. He fucking turned it around. Drove it right off a cliff.
And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today, our border is secure. Thank you. Today, our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared. Our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far.
You think some of the older people in Congress train for this moment, like by sitting up and standing up and sitting down over and over again so that like they're prepared for this moment? Because like I'd assume if you're like 80, you probably don't, you know, this is the most exercise you're ever getting.
We will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred.
Did they used to stand this much in previous states of the Union? No, right? Like only in the beginning and end.
It's a long time ago.
Right?
You wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago.
I feel like it's a new thing. Like this is a post-Trump era
Congress gave us the worst
situation.
Inflation in the history of our country.
Also, if you're tuning in today to the Piker Broadcasting Service, don't forget to follow and also subscribe. Use your free Twitch Primes here.
The lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%.
Choose to in the future, you can still use them to avoid the ads in the future. Twitch Primes are free.
Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states.
Thank you for the 20.
And in some places, $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office.
Bro, this is okay. No, they couldn't even get a standing clap for that one because that's so fake.
Will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that, 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president
What's the Dow
makes.
at? Below 50K, we're fucked. Time to remember that this guy is protecting pedophiles
we were a dead
again.
country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. The hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming and factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today, and 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector.
Dude, it's so crazy that there is literally two different Americas. Like, this is America B shit, right? Which is not real at all. But there are like 10% of the population truly believes every word that's coming out of his mouth right now. And they're like, oh, yeah, we're fucking killing it. Like, they're like, yeah, the economy is great. It's like, bro, they literally openly reveal that there's recession happening in numerous states in the country right now.
4 million Americans, a record off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
I mean, the kicking people off food stamps and then taking credit for it is normal. That's like Democrats have done that as well. Republicans do that all the time, where they act like kicking people off of food stamps means that they like actually became wealthier. That's not the case, obviously. They just made it harder to get food stamps.
We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, no, no. You're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
They're going to be like, the Democrats hate America because they didn't clap for the fucking hockey team. That's what they're going to do. They love doing this, where they'll bring up like victims of like immigrant crime or whatever, and they'll be like, see, Democrats fucking love when, you know, people die in the hands of immigrants because they weren't sufficiently patriotic in that moment. It's either the force their hand into clapping as though that fucking means anything, or if they don't sufficiently clap, they'll say Democrats are sufficiently patriotic. By the way, real shame for the fucking, this will be remembered. That is an unironic shame for the hockey team. It's not an honor to be there for Donald Trump. I will say it. I don't really give a shit that much. Like, but straight up, you are fucking pawns, okay? You are 100% pawns for the Nazi government. And the fact that you're willingly participating in this song and dance implies that you don't really give a shit. You don't really see it. You'll turn around and try to hit the apolitical line and go, oh, well, you know, it's the American government. Like, this is for America. We did it for America. No, the fuck. It won't be read that way. It will be remembered not as fondly as you think it will be.
So as did the American...
You know, like those black and white photos that you see from like Nazi rallies and shit like that? This will be in history. This will not be remembered fondly if we have a future at all.
They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck.
Wait, Asmongold is there. The women's team is not allowed to show up. I don't think the women's team would come if they were invited.
Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off. Do you practice that, or was that?
Oh, the women's team declined?
He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Dog, the last guy that got was Rush Limbaugh. Last guy that Trump gave that to was Rush Limbaugh. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country.
Uh-oh, that's a threat, bro. He said we're going to invade Los Angeles.
And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup. So we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming. And that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II. serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur.
Dog, you're literally a Nazi.
Famous Battle of Manila.
You're literally
so
a
hard.
Nazi.
He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon.
Like, oh, wow. Remember the last time we fought fascism? Well, fascism won. You know, they're inside of the White House now.
One of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday.
Bro, you think he's aware of what's going on? That motherfucker is oblivious of the fact that it's the Nazis have won, okay?
So, buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you.
We should make him a senator while he's there, you know what I mean?
Heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas. One of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something.
Wow.
Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate.
Wow. Hey, maybe it's just me, but I would not bring a child there. I'm just saying, this is probably the least safe environment for a child to be in.
And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history.
And now he announces the new tax cuts for corporations.
Delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans.
For the Epstein class, another tax cut for the Epstein class is so big, it's so beautiful, it's the best.
Every single one of them voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts. They wanted large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night, as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening,
nothing,
and she's
Chatter, who just tuned
happy
in.
to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and her expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half. Megan, please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan. Thank you, Megan. We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that. Nobody believes me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad. So with modest additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. to make this investment in our children's future, go to TrumpAccounts.gov. TrumpAccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country.
Today we
both
mourn the loss of
economically and on a
tariffs
national security basis.
because
Everything
of
was
the
working well.
disrespectful
Countries that
Supreme
were
Court.
ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth, and the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling.
He's like, you should kill them. They're here right now. Republicans, fight them now with your fisticuffs.
That they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president,
the traitors to the
have
nation
make
are
a
in
new
the
deal
room.
could be far worse
The
for them.
Supreme Court.
And therefore, they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful, country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love. Right? Moving forward, factories, jobs, investment, and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America. For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to health care, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt
Debbie
partners
Wasserman
in
Schultz.
Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly use the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that
Zohran Kwame
all of our
Mamdani
citizens
made
have
it up.
to-
Nobody
you
cared
caused
about
that
affordability
problem.
before him.
You caused that problem.
God, my sexual dynamo, Hakeem. He's so fucking hot.
They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies created the high prices. Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it. It's like another big tax cut. I'm also confronting one of the biggest ripoffs of our times, the crushing cost of health care caused by you. Since the passage of the Unaffordable Care Act, sometimes referred to as Obamacare, big insurance companies have gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else. That's why I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost. In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal.
Oh my God, that's really gonna do it, dude. I love having maximum price transparency when I negotiate which emergency room I want to go to with a fucking bullet wound in my gut.
Doing a very bad thing for the people. Of course, we're gonna
after Ice Ages shoot me.
I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before. Other presidents tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action. But I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price.
That's literally not real. That's so funny.
So in my first year of the...
It's free. In many countries, it's free. So I don't...
Strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of healthcare, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way. And here tonight is the very first customer ever to get that big discount, and it is big, Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
We are gonna breed the American heartland. White women!
So now I'm calling on Congress to...
We're calling on white women to be bred.
...program into law.
We will fight back against white genocide.
It's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community, and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed. So I'm telling them they can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up into thousands single-family homes.
0% chance this is a thing that they materialize. Yes, I saw the guy sleeping. I didn't miss it, chat.
And now
who isn't fucking sleeping through this? This is boring as shit.
Permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Racel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information.
This looks fine, dude. This looks great, really. There is a blob growing from his hand.
They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
It's boring and he's saying nothing, but it's far more coherent than I was expecting. Yeah, of course, he has to be locked in on that teleprompter.
But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance. We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem.
Damn.
We are not playing games. Delilah.
She's a fuck ice pin. God, I love Rashida so much. And Ilhan, too. This is a fucking Nazi rally, man. What do you say?
Coleman was only 5 years old.
Remember, fucking 90% of Somalis are American citizens. He's just shitting on American citizens.
To her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up.
Please stand up, bro. She can't walk. Yo, this is one of the grossest things that the Trump administration, the Trump camp does, like where they bring up like victims, right? Where they bring up victims of like car crashes or victims or family members of like people who have been murdered to drive home a point that like undocumented migrants are a scourge on U.S. soil. And it's
many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens.
just like the Lake and Riley Act.
And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they
This is
ever
my
got elected,
this
they
is
would
like
open up
the
those
most
borders
like
to
unbearable aspect
some
of
of
the
the
State
worst
of the
criminals
Union is shit
anywhere in
like
the
that is when they do these
The only
like
thing standing
unique
between
individual heinous
Americans and a
crimes,
wide open border
and then they just
right now
decide
is
like
President Donald J.
tens of
Trump
millions of
and our
people
great
living on U.S.
Republican
soil are
patriots in
responsible for
Congress.
the
Thank you.
heinous crimes of one person. It's such a fucking, it's such a clear cut racist bullshit mode of propaganda.
As we speak,
It's unbelievable.
Democrats in this
If you want to
chamber
understand it, it's
have
like
come
imagine
up
if he was like,
for the
imagine if he brought up like
Homeland
victims of a Jewish person to be like, this is why we got to bar all Jews, or victims of a black person. A victim of a black person to be like, this is why we got to ban all black people. We got to jail all black people. Like, it's exactly the same thing, right? But because they're migrants,
Now they have
people don't have the
closed
capacity to
agency
understand that like
responsible for protecting
this is not the
Americans from
adequate measure to
terrorists and
take here at
murderers.
all.
Tonight, I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, the Democrats don't stand up. They obviously care about only supporting illegal aliens. Like that's what it is. It's a childish ultimatum. It's literally, it has the same effect of being like, child abuser says what? And if you say what, you're like, oh, got him. Like, it's literally the dumbest technique of all time. And Republicans use it, they spam it, dude. They love spamming that shit. Yeah, Trump be like, you're gay if you're sitting down. Everyone who's not standing is gay. You see? Look at all the homosexual congresspersons.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Get up there and beat his ass, Elon! The people stand with you!
And perhaps most importantly, I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%.
It's polling at 200%.
And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good.
Yeah, he's paying them, brother. The city is paying them. If he didn't do that, you'd be like, oh, he's giving undocumented illegals money.
And Congress should unite and enact this common sense, country-saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it.
She was
We
shouting,
have to
"You have
stop
killed
it,
Americans"
John.
at Trump. You have killed Americans.
And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up.
What is this? Of course, it's fucking Liberty University.
Thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately.
Chat, I know what the fucking finger gesture is an indication of. I'm saying, like, this is black queer culture, and she's doing it at the fucking Nazi rally as a detransitioner that is, you know, playing a role as a prop at the Nazi rally against trans people.
Amazing. Gentlemen. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
I think they should be way more fucking loud. It's free ball. Any Democrat that disrupts the proceedings right now is going to get endless amounts of praise, dude. You have nothing to fucking lose.
Now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that?
Oh
Over
my
the past
God.
year, she has
This is literally Erdogan. We are straight up a third world country. I'm sorry, no disrespect to developing nations and shit, but like this is literally developing nation shit. This is literally third world. This is like dictatorship in the third world shit. Like, look at my beautiful wife. I've made her a movie star.
had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She
We
gets
have
a lot.
Turkified America at an alarming rate.
Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the
You're insulting your own
presidential
country?
AI
I'm
challenge,
insulting
keeping
both of my
America's
countries.
next
They
generation
deserve it,
positioned
both
to
of them.
succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight we welcome two young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much. I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both the first 4 years, and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God.
Over the Epstein files?
Tremendous renewal. This is especially true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Oh, it's time. Come on, give me something good, baby. Come on, baby, give me something good.
So
give me
last year,
something good.
Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
I want to point out that they are spamming the name of a fucking podcaster.
Been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Except for the kind that I do to all of my enemies.
We love religion, and we love bringing it back.
We love religion.
And it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zuretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer,
wait, this is the only time he's going to mention Ukraine? Ain't no fucking way, dude.
The train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zuretska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina.
I thought they said that they didn't want their daughter's death to be used as a political prop, by the way, which is crazy because, like, Irina was woke.
How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there.
Oh, that's not the father? That's a different person? It's just the mom that showed up? How do you not stand? You see? You're not going to stand? If you don't stand, you're gay. Over and over again. That's it. That's one line.
To restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success. New Orleans, Louisiana, big success. And our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Eva Lee. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. She's a great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night.
It's kind of weird to be like, oh, one of them made it, by the way, and he's awesome for making it.
But his mother said, no, Mr. President.
Both of the families are there, you know what I mean?
I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance.
Also, Trump is the opposite of Joe Biden. Like, Joe Biden is the griever in chief, right? Like, he's so good at grieving. Trump is so violent with the way that he describes these sorts of incidents. Like, I'll never forget when he had the hostage families on him, behind him on stage, and he was like, they were ripped away and they were being decapitated and raped brutally. You know, and he's just like such a psycho because they're like, their family members are like right there. The nasty things they did to these hostages of the family members right behind me.
But she turned out to be right. Right, Melanie? She turned out to be right.
He is truly, unambiguously the most unempathetic person you can be. If you don't stand up for this guy, I'm gay and Lebanese. You're gay and Lebanese. Look at the Democrats. They won't stand up.
I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you.
Not the
We're
Democrats.
proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? You're sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank
We're officially at an hour and 20, and it's fucking so bad.
Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Bernie Sanders looking right at you, big dog.
Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead, of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the ninth war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president, would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb.
It's coming. Hold.
And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protests. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from.
I wonder if Daniel
hanging
Dale will do
lot
a
of
fact
them
check on this
with
one.
The threat of serious violence, but this is some terrible people.
Everything he says is a lie, but
They've
when
already
it comes to
developed
foreign policy,
missiles
all of a
that can
sudden
threaten
we're all in
Europe
agreement, right?
and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue. They're starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never.
Yes, you have. They've said it
nuclear
so
weapon.
many times.
My
They've
preference.
literally nonstop said it. Let's see if the Democrats clap for this one. Oh, Democrats are getting up for this too. Oh, Democrats are getting up. Elizabeth Warren got up.
My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy.
Fuck this
But one
country.
thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republican in Congress, we're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed at my very strong request to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 3. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction.
Get Mexico out of your fucking mouth, you son of a bitch. Do not bring Mexico into this.
And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. It very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore.
How is that funny? How is that funny?
We've also taken down one of the most sinister
We're such
cartel
fucking
kingpins
assholes,
of
dude.
all.
This
You
is
saw
why
that yesterday.
I really hope there is a God. I really hope there is a heaven and hell, because these guys will be punished forever, but shit like this makes me feel like there isn't one, you know what I mean? Like, look at all these fucking animals. Look at all these fucking animals celebrating the murder of random boaters, talking about how we've destroyed their fishing industry. You fucking piece of shit.
In world history, no one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force than we had years ago when we fought to tie. You know, it's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby, because we did that. My baby is becoming so important. And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice.
What the fuck is that, yo? Oh.
And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter. A big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy.
Bro, it's so much more boring that, like, he's a reality TV guy, so the expectation is that he's gonna cook, right? But this shit's boring as fuck.
Swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a
It's just
major
ass.
military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, two machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission. We probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded, but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take the searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in.
Well, I'm still live. The State of the Union's happening.
So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor.
Oh my God, I'm so fucking bored. Not only am I bored, but like this shit doesn't move me at all. Obviously, because, you know, it was a totally and utterly illegal action. Like this dude didn't need to have his legs chewed off by machine gun fire. And the only reason why that happened is because he was the helicopter pilot on an illegal action on a fucking sovereign country soil. It's Clavicular's dad. El Hasan. Yeah, you're right. Oh no, Donald Trump is using wounded soldiers as a fucking prop. I have to sit here and respect it.
Well, thank you very much, Eric. And
how dare you, Hasan?
Great to get to know you. I met with them and
what are you
with a lot of
saying?
their fellow warriors.
Like what are you saying? That like American military members should not be shot at if they're invading a country? What the fuck's wrong with you?
World War I, and then they decided to change the name, so we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back too.
Yeah, thank God he was there. Now we can reroute all that oil to Israel.
Incredible night of victory. We'll also be receiving
Oh,
medals
fuck.
at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets. And
what's going to happen when the last, like, 8 World War II veterans pass away? How are we going to farm World War II?
63 bullets to his own
The last honorable war America engaged in.
His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition.
Buddy, World War III, unlimited cheat code. Buddy, we're going to be the Nazis in World War III. I hope you understand that. Just so you know, it won't be an honorable war. Or rather, we won't be on the honorable and the righteous side on that one, okay? "100 years old, someone tell Nick Shirley about this voter fraud." If this guy better not even think about voting unless he wants Nick Shirley coming knocking down his door. 'Baron is mogging the shit out of that 100-year-old World War II veteran, by the way. 'Baron is height mogging the fuck out of this guy. This guy's definitely dropping in the chat rankings, okay? Sorry, no disrespect. He just got fucking frame mogged, son. No, he was a World War II veteran and a Korea veteran. So he fought to stop a genocide, then he conducted a genocide. He got both sides of the genocide spectrum. That's usually, yeah, that's how it works. Life is about balance. Yeah. If you don't hit the one and done after World War II, you very likely also contributed to a genocide.
I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you.
Wrong war, Demi. We stopped the genocide in Korea. Yeah?
Thank you.
Is that right? We stopped the genocide in Korea by blowing up 60% of all standing fucking buildings in Korea, melting like more than 10% of the population.
This evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent.
There's a reason why they call it the Forgotten War.
An unforgiving
So we don't remember the heinous war crimes we committed.
Settled a boundless frontier and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
2 hours.
And there we have it.
A little
Trump
under
in the
2
State of the
hours.
Union at 1 hour, 48 minutes. That's a record even for this president.
I'm gonna keep it $1.50. That was under 2 hours. It felt like 2 lifetimes. Okay. And now we get into the good shit. This was the most boring State of the Union. Okay. Even though he tried to beef it up, even though he tried to like pad it up with like reality TV fanfare. There was a poly market bet. Yeah. I'm sure his boys made a good ton. He had a fuck ton of money. This was awful. I mean, it's a lot of lies up and down, total fucking bullshit.
The stock market hit more than 50 all-time
But
highs.
now
He
the
said
real
one of the
interesting
reasons
stuff comes when, you know, Van Jones goes on television and talks about how a presidential Trump was.
The Dow hitting 50,000.
I can't wait to watch a grown man nut on live television, Van Jones, because Donald Trump is going to strike Iran soon. Insane. One of the worst lies was also saying we're not going to touch Medicaid. Pretty creepy how tens of millions of Americans just had their health insurance premiums doubled or more last month, and is totally ignored by the elites, Trump's, Dems, legacy media. Trump smugly bragging about all the money he's throwing in every branch of the bloated military. And on top of that, he said he's not going to touch Medicaid, Medicare, or Social Security when he absolutely did. He molested the fuck. He molested the fuck out of Medicaid and Medicare. He cut the shit out of it with that last tax cut. So,
even if it isn't the one that.
On that note, let's hear what Jake Tapper and Van Jones has to say. I can't wait to hear Van Jones talk about how sick it is, how he popped a fucking rock hard boner when he heard about Donald Trump saying we're going to do something to Iran. We got to do something about it.
And some populist economic proposals. The president taking time to make healthy use of stories both sad and illustrative and inspiring. Stories
what are you
fellow Americans.
He literally used props like he does every time to be like, immigrants are raping and killing. They're bad drivers. He literally at one point said, immigrants don't know how to read traffic signs and they're murdering Americans all the time. Here is a murdered American. We brought the lifeless corpse of a murdered American. He did not actually paint a tapestry of stories about American existence. You fucking animals!
Yeah, and what Americans wanted to hear more than anything else was about the economy. And the president certainly did what we hear a lot on a daily basis about how he thinks it's the greatest economy in the world, and all of the sort of hyperbole that is classic.
This is why I watch. This is why I watch. I watched like a mauled at CNN. This is the whole reason why I watched the Sodu. So I could mauled at CNN and Jake Tapper being like, he was really presidential tonight. Remember when he said immigrants do rapes? Here is an American rape victim, raped by an undocumented migrant, an animal. I, Jake Tapper, sign off on this vitriolic racial animus.
Get the AI companies to pay for, and the tech companies to pay for how much energy they are using, which American consumers are now paying for largely. Housing costs, you got a proposal in on that. Is that going to make people feel better tomorrow? No. But a lot of the concern that people who are going to go out and vote or not vote this election year is that they don't think that he's paying attention to that. And is this speech going to solve that? No. But at least they all have clips and some talking points that they can go back on the campaign trail and start talking about.
Yeah, and I just want to note there was Thomas Massey standing over as the president was exiting. Of course, the president and Thomas Massey have feuded. He's not been happy with him. He wants him to lose his job as a member of Congress. I think what stood out to me as we were watching this is, this is not unfamiliar territory for the president. He has delivered many of these addresses. He's now broken his own records on how long he has spoken. But these moments as he was in there, and at the beginning, obviously getting started, he was largely looking over to the left side of the chamber where a lot of the Republicans were sitting. Then he began looking at the right side as Democrats obviously were not standing for what he believed should be applause lines during his speech. And he was getting increasingly irritated by it, at one point stopping and saying, these people are crazy, I can't believe they're not standing for this. The one thing that I saw them all standing for was when they were talking about insider trading and banning that. And he made an offhand joke about Nancy Pelosi.
No, they were standing for Iran too. They were standing for Iran. I saw those motherfuckers stand for that. Elizabeth Warren standing the fuck up, hitting the standing O when we're talking about bombing Iran. More unlimited war, please.
There's voters at home. How do they feel about this? Does it make them feel better about making their mortgage payments and paying down their credit card bills? That remains to be seen ahead of the midterms, but they certainly had those moments.
Well, and of course, big picture.
Elizabeth Warren didn't stand for the Iran part. We literally watched it happen in real time.
His polling, his approval rating is lower than it's ever been. He was speaking to a room full of Republican members of Congress, many of whom stand to lose their seats. The president stands to lose part of the power that he currently has in Washington. And I think the speech reflected the way this president often deploys the strengths that he has. Yes, he spent some time defending his own record. He spent some time blaming his predecessor. He spent some time, at least one of my Republican sources pointed out to me, trying to convince people it wasn't as bad as maybe they feel that it was. But he spent far more time during this speech on offense, right? Ticking through places that are culturally inflammatory in some cases. He put Democrats on the spot repeatedly. I mean, he almost goaded Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar at one point into shouting back at him when he asked the crowd to stand and clap if they supported American citizens. That is where this president often tries to project strength, and he did it again tonight.
And for those at home who are wondering what exactly happened when Congressman Al Green, Democrat of Texas, why he was ejected, he was holding a sign saying, quote, "Black people aren't apes," an allusion to the video that President Trump tweeted a few days ago in which President Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama were in fact depicted as apes. Anderson?
Jake, thanks very much. You're with the panel. John King, what stood out to you?
I think it's important to remember that, sadly, in my view, most Americans live in their silo. And so people watch this from their perspective of choir practice for the most part. President had a lot of challenges coming into this speech. His approval rating overall is down. His approval rating in the economy is down. Approval rating on immigration is down. I mentioned early on one of the big glaring problems for Republicans, because it's a midterm year, is approval rating among Republicans is down some too. From 90% to 82% in our most recent poll. I would not be surprised at all if he helped himself there. That's not enough. That's not enough. One speech is not going to change anything. But the Republican Party needs its base enthusiastic heading into the midterm election year. And there was a lot in the speech from the president, both from a policy perspective of what he's done and what he's trying to do, and the few skirmishes he had with the Democrats. That if you're trying to get your base to say, okay, I've been sort of pulled back. Washington's too loud. I don't like the fighting. I don't like a lot of Latino Republicans I talk to. I don't like seeing ICE in the streets of America. You might get a little bit of them back in the fight.
And that is what was so important about tonight. He nailed the Republican base, brought them back in the fold with a solid message.
Nobody will remember this speech by Friday night, the latest. No, no one's going to remember this speech by tomorrow when he fucking decides to strike Iran. No one's going to, no one, dude, this is the least memorable State of the Union. State of the Unions are already fucking not very memorable, but this one is like extra not memorable. All these panelists that are like, wow, he did the right thing. He talked about the economy. And he talked about how undocumented migrants are raping and pillaging.
His strategists and aides there. But the question, I mean, I think he did well from their perspective for the reasons that you say, John, and he used the gallery very skillfully to kind of simulate empathy, which is a thing that he's been lacking, and that's sort of a surrogate for that. The question is, he started off the speech by saying, this is the turnaround for the ages. Right. And as you know, because you're traveling around the country, people don't think the direction is right. And I don't think this cured that. So we'll see. But I don't think a lot of the people who needed to be persuaded probably were watching this speech.
I also just want to quickly point out in about a minute or so, we're going to be hearing from the Democratic response from Governor Abigail Spanberger of Virginia, newly elected.
Yeah, I mean, I think stylistically, this speech really told us where the president is, which is that the way that he wants to see the country may not be where the country actually is or where the country sees itself, but he utilized almost like these game show type moments where you're seeing awards being presented to really.
I think you're seeing it like that because you cover politics so frequently. Much of the country is legitimately unaware. They hear a strong speech and believe it. No, much of the country doesn't fucking watch. Much of the country doesn't watch the State of the Union, okay? Why would they? They're not fucking nerds.
The FBI is raiding election offices in Georgia. Students are being disappeared for